Hey everyone! So in today's video, you can see I am talking about my lip oil and lip gloss collection. This is not everything. I'm just doing some thumbnail stuff now. I've already filmed this video. I'm giving you guys swatches as well as speed reviews of every single lip gloss and lip oil in my collection. This is definitely going to be a long one, but if you all love declutters, if you love really detailed declutters, I have a lot coming. I already have a lot on my channel, but I have a lot coming. So definitely make sure you're subscribed, give this video a thumbs up. And also I know a lot of people that watch my content pretty consistently, but haven't even realized they're not subscribed. So if you're one of those people, make sure to subscribe. And you guys, let's just jump right in. And by the way, I'm focusing in today's video on lip oils and lip glosses. So that doesn't include liquid lip balms or gloss sticks. So again, just focusing on like the classics, lip oils and lip glosses. Now, let's go ahead and talk about this product from Summer Fridays, which is their Dream Lip Oil. I have mine in the shade Blush Dreams, and these just really had so much hype surrounding them upon the release. But I think a lot of us have kind of noticed, at least I have, that this formula just isn't as unique as the original Summer Fridays Butter Balms. I really do enjoy this color, but once these are applied to the lips, they just feel a little bit flat. There's not a ton of shine. The pigmentation is creamy, but it just kind of feels a little bit lackluster. I'm gonna keep it for a little bit longer, but this probably won't last in my collection. And the reason I keep some items that I don't particularly love is for my makeup library to compare formulas, especially when I get questions about items. So again, that's why that one's staying for now, just because it's a relatively new item, but again, I'm not seeing it last too long. Now, let's talk about the Give Dewy Plump Collagen Lip Gel. This is quite an interesting launch. Now, we just talked about lip glosses and lip oils, but you know, lip gel does seem to describe a little bit of a different formula. And brands quite often are not using gel to describe lip products, at least not in the cosmetic lip product realm. Now, what's probably good to note about this is that I actually don't find this to be a gel-like formula whatsoever. It's actually an incredibly thick gloss. Now this is the shade Marigold. By the way, I'm gonna try and remember to let you guys know how each of these smell as often as possible. This has an incredibly strong vanilla scent. It's beautiful and it's delicious, but again, if you don't like vanilla, you'll definitely not like this. But I will say, haven't tried this on the lips yet. This is a new to my collection item. Haven't tried this on the lips yet, but I have a feeling that this is going to give a very glossy effect. And you know, it's got some stick to it. So I think if you really love these more classic, really glossy, tacky balms, I think there's a good chance you'll enjoy this. But if you prefer something more on the lightweight side, I could definitely say stay away from this one. One video that I do have upcoming on my channel is a lip SPF video, and this one is from Naked Sundays. This is such an underrated brand. I really hope more people talk about them. But I haven't even opened up this one, mostly out of fear. I gotta be honest here, guys. Most lip SPFs taste and smell like SPF. That's why this video has been so important to me, so that you guys can actually find some lip SPFs that don't taste awful. So let's go ahead and open this one together for the first time. You can see right here on the packaging that there is a lot of chemical filters in here, which can go poorly very quickly. And this is SPF 50. Nice little paddle applicator. I'm gonna give it a smell. Interesting. It smells almost like butterscotch candies a bit. I'm gonna try it on my lips. Very thin and fluid. Thin, fluid. You get butterscotch for sure, but there is a little bit of that, yeah, that kind of chemical filter taste. That is unfortunate. It's not as prevalent as like the one from Supergoop, for example. Ugh, but it gets worse. Luckily, I have a Diet Coke down here. But never fear, I have found some lip SPFs with absolutely no taste to them, or if anything, a pleasant taste. So be on the lookout for that video, but that is not one of them. I am gonna keep it though for reference in that video because why not? Let's keep on going. This is another new purchase that I made. It is the Prismaglass High Shine Hydrating Oil Infused Lip Gloss from Armani. This was one of those products that I was just like, "Ugh, how good can this be?" But I will say, packaging not as heavy as I wanted it to be. The formula though, the formula surprised me. It's very pretty. The shine is really nice. It is glassy, but what I really enjoyed about it is that it doesn't feel gloopy. It's more of like a medium weight, balmy kind of gloss. You can see it definitely sheers out. This does feel like a really pretty sheer red, that kind of like strawberry lip color that, you know, if you like a little bit of luxury in your life, I definitely think that this is a good formula and it looks really pretty and performs. Is this like worth the money? By the way, this is the shade Cherry Glaze. I feel like that's really up to you guys to decide. Like there are other products I think that could certainly give you a similar effect, but this one is just really nice. It is just very pretty. By the way, a very slight kind of vanilla scent to this one, very non-offensive. Honestly, I'm kind of glad that I tried it because I really thought that this was just going to be a lackluster kind of formula or like a really slippy, sinks right into the lips and leaves nothing kind of lip oil, but this did something for me. That one is staying. You know, I've talked about lip oils for a long time on my channel because I think that some formulas are quite lackluster. This, however, this formula from Beauty is not one of those formulas. I have two shades here. I have the shade Merlot, and this shade just has kind of, it's like a fruity smell, maybe like a little spiced. And it's very pretty if you enjoy more of that kind of cooler toned red brown shade, which I am a huge fan of. But listen, my number one favorite is the number one glaze shade, which is just, it's this gorgeous candy apple red. And if you are a fan of a candy apple red lip, just that pretty cherry red shade, I would definitely recommend this one from Beauty. One, you can see the applicator is really big, very plush. It's really like a pleasure to apply onto the lips. It smells like Twizzlers, which is, for, you know, in my opinion, never a bad thing. And it just leaves this really glassy, glossy effect, but it's not a very slippy formula. It lasts well without it, again, being very sticky. In general, they're just really pretty. And again, whenever I go back and recommend lip oils, this is always like one of the first that come to mind with a very good, stable formula with very pretty shades. So I think that the Beauty glazes are definitely one to be on the lookout for. And I'm keeping these. You know those makeup items that you see them and you want to put them on? That cherry red shade from Beauty is 100% one of those products for me. You know what? Let's talk about a launch I wasn't a fan of. These are the Lush lip oils from Well People. And listen, I'm not even going to stay here for too long just because I don't recommend them. The shade Desert Poppy. And truly, you guys, they're just, the shades are nice. They're quite pigmented, but when they go onto the lips, they just kind of leave a lot to be desired. Pigment settles into the lips, and my lips are just, they're left wanting more in hydration, and overall, like the quality of my lips don't look necessarily improved, which, I mean, I'm expecting that with like a matte lipstick. I'm not expecting a matte lipstick to like erase all of the lines in my lips or make my lips look really plump. But you know, with a lip gloss or lip oil, I'm expecting a little more. And unfortunately, these didn't deliver on that front. So I'm going to pass these along. By the way, if you guys are wondering what nail polish I'm wearing, I occasionally get questions. It's the typical, guys. It's the Kerr Illuminating Nail Concealer. This is literally just one coat, and it's in pink. Yeah, it's just like my typical go-to nail color. And by the way, I also have a little bit of self-tan going, just for reference for you guys. Shall we talk Merit? I have two different formulas here. I have their Gelée lip oil, and then I have their regular lip oil. Now, for me personally, as far as Merit lip products go, the signature classic satin lips are where I would lead you to. They're my absolute favorite. However, I do really enjoy these shades. And if you're someone that does prefer that really thin lip formula, you're gonna get that within the Merit line. So let me give you guys some swatches here. Falcon is, I think, my favorite shade. Yeah, I mean, it's just very unique. Hard to find a cool toned brown like that. Like it's almost like a blackened brown. Really interesting shade. And then Taupe is really lovely as well. You can see that's a little bit more red there, but this just adds a little bit of edge to a look. I mean, Taupe I think is a little bit more wearable for my skin tone in particular, but again, very slippy formula. These aren't gonna last forever. The Gelée ones, this is the shade Mapleton. Just interesting because I believe they're pH adjusting, so they kind of end up looking all the same is what I've heard from others. This is the only one that I have, but you can see that doesn't look necessarily like the color, and like that looks very pink. So there might be something going on with that. I mean, you can see here, it even leaves a little bit of a stain. Hopefully you can see that, but I've kind of wanted to do a video behind like the science behind pH adjusting lip products. I don't know if you guys are interested in that. I'm gonna keep this for now, potentially for that video, but if I'm not seeing any comments about it, I'll probably pass this one along. But I am gonna keep these lip oils from Merit, specifically because I really enjoy the colors. The formula, again, not my absolute favorite. All right, should we go ahead and talk about Fenty? Because I feel like Fenty really spearheaded lip glosses coming back into style. I have a couple of different formulas here, so I'll give you swatches of all of those. Yeah, I have 3 different formulas here. I'm gonna first just give you quick swatches of the Fenty Heat, because these are one of the only plumping lip glosses that I'm gonna talk about in today's video, because I do have an upcoming video specifically on plumping glosses, the ones that are worth your money, the ones that are not worth your money. So I don't want to be repetitive in this video, but I will give you guys some swatches of these. The Fenty Heat formula is just a slightly thinner version of the original Gloss Bomb formula. And at least these shades that I have don't have any sparkles to them. I find them really even, easy to apply. That's the shade Hot Chocolate, and then right below is the shade Fenty Glow. Both of these I can right out of the gate recommend to you all. In fact, Fenty Heat and Hot Chocolate, this shade right here, it's definitely a holy grail for me. Again, really nice tingle to these, a good plump, but it's not uncomfortable. And the formula isn't overly gloopy while still giving a beautiful glossy effect. Honestly, I prefer the Fenty Heat formula to the original Gloss Bomb formula now, and that's another reason why I did want to call these out in today's video, just because these are like my number one. So with that being said, I'm keeping these, and upon reflection here, I feel like Falcon, it is different. It is different than Fenty Heat, but yeah, like the undertones are different. I just feel like for what I'm using them for, I should probably just pass this along. I'm trying to be good, guys. I'm trying to really pare down as much as I can. And that's very hard for me with lip products for some reason. Okay, so let's readjust here. Talk about the original formula and then we'll get into the cream. So all of these are the original Gloss Bomb formula from Fenty. You guys, the formula is good, and that is why people have loved it and raved about it for so long. This is the first one that she released, and it's just called Fenty Glow. It's a beautiful gloss. I don't have a single complaint about it. Just a really fine pearly shimmer to it. And you can see it's a very restrained glitter in my opinion. The shade is just, it really is going to be pretty flattering on a lot of people. It has that classic kind of cherry smell that a lot of Fenty products have. I don't know, that's what I get from it. I'm keeping this shade, but I do think here I should probably pare down. One of my favorite shades of the Fenty formula is Cherry, but I prefer the Cherry Heat shade, which is, it's somewhere kicking around here. This has shimmer to it. This is the Cherry and the Gloss Bomb formula, and it's pretty. It's pretty, but I'm more likely to use the Fenty Heat Cherry. So I think I'm going to go ahead and pass this along. I'm just typically not going for a red with like a glimmer to it. That's just a personal preference thing. So I'm going to go ahead and pass that along. I'm also really not reaching for this shade Ruby Milk. And this is such a cute little mini. Again, beautiful shade. There's really nothing wrong with it, but I'm not reaching for it. You know, I've kept a lot of these Fenty glosses in the library for so long, but I've just noticed I'm not really reaching for them in that way as much as I used to. So I'm gonna kind of pare down on this collection a little bit. And I am going to keep these three shades. This is the shade Fenty Glow from the Cream, and this is my favorite shade. It's just really beautiful. And the cream formula, just again, it has this really beautiful balance between having this creamy pigment, but not being overly pigmented so that you're left with kind of this differentiating line between your lips and the actual gloss. Like that can look very awkward. It doesn't settle into the lines of the lips the way some pigments can. I can't speak to all of the shades, but certainly this shade, certainly the pinkier shade. What shade is that called? Fussy. Yeah, the fussy shade within this line also have never had that issue with. But the cream formula is beautiful too. If you want a formula without glitter from Fenty and you don't like a plumper. And then these two shades are absolutely gorgeous. This is Hot Chocolate from Fenty. I love that more people started loving this shade because it's just, it's so good. It is right there. And then I also have the shade Fussy. And again, both of these are just really, really pretty. This is actually a really good kind of segue into the next gloss I wanted to talk about with you all. By the way, I am keeping these, but it's a good segue to talk about the lifter glosses from Maybelline. There's a lot of similarities here, guys. Specifically, this shade Moon from the lifter gloss line from Maybelline. Very, very similar, as you can see, to Fussy. I don't like the Maybelline smell as much. It's like kind of sweet, kind of fruity. It's not like the best, it's not the worst. As an affordable gloss, I think that this is beautiful. The shimmer, again, is very thin on the lips, very radiant, but still subtle. The only difference I really have seen over the years is that the lifter glosses, they're just not quite as shiny as the ones from Fenty. I'm going to be keeping all of those, and I also wanted to do a little call out just because the lifter plump is also, I think, kind of going after Fenty Heat. And then this is their kind of cherry shade. I just started testing this one, so I don't have a full review for you guys. I can say that this is kind of like a minty kind of tingle. Like they say there's chili pepper in here, but it smells like straight mint. The shade is very beautiful. The Maybelline glosses, again, as far as affordable glosses go, they offer really pretty shine, medium weight. I don't think that you can really go wrong with them. But I think where Fenty wins is in the subtleties, the fact that they have a little bit more glassy shine. the fact that you can get like such unique shades out of Fenty. Let's go ahead and talk about the NARS Afterglow glosses. These are very pretty. I haven't used them in a while, so when I haven't used a product in a while, I get a little bit less excited about them. It's just kind of like the way things are sometimes, just because I'm trying things so often. But I will give you guys this. If you are into that kind of plushy formula, you want your lip gloss to almost feel like a balm, these will give you that. You can see the pigmentation is more intense, I would say, for a lip gloss. That was Aragon, and then I have the shade Nympho as well, and Nympho's beautiful. I mean, I am such a sucker for these kind of cooler beiges. This is how I like to do beige. I like beige taupe rather than like beige peach. Not really much of a scent to these either, which I think is good for some of you. But again, if you just want a lip gloss that feels nourishing and has this kind of creamy pigment, I would say for the typical person that has that one lipstick in their bag and really has gotten used to using that one lipstick, you like the creamy pigment of it, but you want something glossier, I think that these are a really good segue or an addition to that. Not really sticky, not overly glossy, just like a great middle of the road, beautiful formula. And again, those shades are very interesting, which is something that a lot of luxury brands have over drugstore brands, as we've kind of touched on. Let's say you're like, Amanda, I need like a $2, $3 gloss. That's good. Essence has got you. Personally for me, I've had these for a long time. So again, I shouldn't really be keeping them at this point. This clear shade called Happiness in a Bottle. It is one of the glossiest lip glosses that you can find. It's drugstore or affordable. The only downside is that it has a little bit of a cherry smell that for some people, you know how cherry is a little bit polarizing? I think some people could find it medicinal, personally. Even I sometimes get that vibe, and then other times I don't. So it's just kind of like, you might have to gauge it on your own. But this is such a gorgeous gel-like formula. It really envelops the lips, and it just really gives them this ultra glassy, just really huge lip kind of look without it being a plumper. I think that the Shine 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 from Essence it's just one of the best. I'm keeping it as a reference, but just more so I remind myself to repurchase it because I do have an affordable starter kit coming up. And then this is the shade. This shade is called Behind the Scenes from Essence, but this is Happiness in a Bottle. Beautiful, beautiful dusty rose shade. And I love this one too. I think it's great. I love and reach for the clear one more. So I am gonna pass this one along. And I think within my affordable starter kit video, I'll probably just focus more so on the clear shade. So it can go for now. But let's step back into the luxury realm, shall we? The Dior Lip Glow Oils. Really one of those products that blew up and I think changed the landscape and the trends of lip products, period. We definitely saw a lot of brands switch up their marketing and their strategy, at least in my opinion, after these went viral. Now, I have two different shades here. I have the shade Mahogany, which is forever my favorite shade of this line. It is such a beautiful pinky brown, and there's a translucence enough to it that it can be layered with a lot of different lip looks. It has that classic sweet vanilla mint smell that Dior does well. I also have the shade Rosewood. I love Rosewood as well. You can see they're very they have kind of like a syrupy kind of quality. Really lovely. And again, I think that these got people talking about lip oils again, but it brought up a really beautiful question that I was really excited to dive into on my channel, which is, what makes this a lip oil? A lot of brands call their lip glosses lip oils now. The term has kind of become interchangeable. That's why I focus a little bit less on what a product is called and just focus on the texture and the formula for you guys. Ultimately, I think that this is just a more balanced lip gloss formula. There's a nice spreadability to it. It feels good on the lips, a nice sheer pigment. At the end of the day, are they overpriced? Probably. But is it a good quality product that feels good going on the lips? Absolutely. And they do feel luxe. I've been a fan of Dior lip products for a very long time. And these, again, they just feel luxurious and they look very pretty on the lips. I mean, by the way, I'm keeping these. However, I gotta hand it to e.l.f. They know what they're doing. Came out with a formula that's pretty damn similar in shades that are also really lovely. And that tends to be, again, that big divide with affordable makeup and drugstores. So you can see great applicator. This is the shade Honey Talks. That's a really nice shade. Very pretty. For me, as far as the formula goes, the e.l.f. has a little bit more pigment in my opinion, and is a little bit thinner. On the lips, they look fantastic. I have the shade Rose Envy. And by the way, within my makeup, affordable makeup starter kit, you will see these. I think that they're one of e.l.f.'s best launches ever, in my opinion. So that's Rose Envy. And then lastly, Jam Session, which might be my favorite. There it is. So e.l.f. they kind of nailed it as far as the formula goes. They're glossy, but still comfortable. Kind of just like a simple minty smell to these. Very sleek, basic packaging. They just, again, I just feel like they knew what they were doing, and they did a good job at it. Could you skip the Dior and go with the e.l.f.? Probably. I think that the e.l.f. are absolutely beautiful. Now again, we kind of talked about how, whether it's a lip oil, a lip gloss, the formula needs to just speak for itself. And the Thorn Bite Peptide Plump Cream Lip Oils are a very unique hybrid formula that I feel like we just got to talk about. To me, they sit somewhere between a liquid lip balm and a lip oil. This is the shade Rose Bite. Beautiful, beautiful shade. But you can see they got a decent amount of pigment to them. And they're buildable pigment. Like, you're never going to get full pigmentation, but they've got some decent pigment to them. And what I love about them is that they feel really nourishing on the lips, and they actually do a good job healing the lips. I have the shade Rose Crush, which is a very, very pretty shade. Right below, they're similar, but a little bit more of a rose. You can see like how they look in the actual packaging versus like how they swatch. They're a little bit more sheer than they look in here. We have the shade Rose Pinch. And by the way, these smell like rose, so if that's a deal breaker, there you go. I find that shade has probably the most pigment out of all the ones I've tried. It's also one that I don't reach for a ton, so I think I'm going to declutter that one. However, this shade Rose Bloom I find to be pretty unique. Just these kind of gray brown shades I really gravitate towards and think are cool. And then finally, Rose Fruit. A little bit more purple to that one. So again, Ritual Defeat always comes out with some interesting shades. I'm gonna go ahead and declutter Rose Fruit. So I'm keeping 3, decluttering 2. I think that's a good balance there. Now we did just talk about the e.l.f. lip oils. The e.l.f. lip lacquers I think are good. In particular, I really, really love the clear one. Good for just kind of like a very thin, almost watery, nourishing kind of lip gloss. So if you want a clear lip gloss that almost feels a little bit like a balm, I do like this one. But admittedly, I don't really reach for it much, so I am going to pass it along. And this shade Black Cherry, I was really expecting a lot more than I got from it. It just looks a little bit odd once it's on the lips, so I'm also gonna pass that one along too. e.l.f. did have this like Cookies and Dreams like blue gloss. They also had a black one as well. The blue, it admittedly, I don't think really does much, and you can't get this anymore, so probably just time to pass that one along too. But I love the idea of like a blue gloss. Now, the Posh Gloss from Victoria Beckham. This is the shade Poolside, and it's just beautiful. It really, really is. I love the tone of it. It's great for every day. The packaging is glass and really luxe. And in general, it's just very flattering. It's glassy and glossy, but the formula is maybe thinner than one might expect. It's not a thin formula, but just for the appearance that it gives on the lips, it's actually more, it's definitely not super thick. No fragrance to it either. So if that's an issue for you, in general, I think as far as like luxe glosses go, Victoria Beckham did an incredible job with this formula. I am going to go ahead and pass along this Ami Collet lip oil though. Actually, I'm just going to throw it away because when I even purchased it, I think it was bad. Like the smell is very off, which is disappointing. But you know, just as a quick call out, I do think that this formula is very pretty. It's more of a lip oil texture. It feels very comforting on the lips. And, you know, as a whole, if you do enjoy something that feels more like a lip oil with that slip, but you still want something very glassy and not slippy, I think that this is all around a great formula. It's something I think a little bit more balmy, and I think that some people really enjoy that. So I wanted to give this one a call out before I unfortunately do throw it away. I don't know what happened with it. Seriously, like I bought it and it was off. You know what? Should we do some comparisons of these shades that I'm realizing in my collection I like more than I realize? And I think that that's why like taking a look, like overviews of what you have in your collection is so important. It's very similar to like your wardrobe. Just getting like a true look of what you have. So I have the Clarins lip oil here, and this is the shade Chocolate. It's really pretty. I love this scent, but you can see that it looks very different than what it looks like in here. And here it's kind of like, again, it's more of this like chocolatey black cherry shade, but it goes on and looks quite warm. There's definitely like an orangeness to it. Nevertheless, I do really like the Clarins lip oils. A little bit more of a fruity scent. They used to be very like floral, or at least that's what I remember personally, in the old like box packaging or rectangle packaging. But I think the reformulation, they added a new smell, and listen, I think that they're very pretty. Slightly more oily than like the Dior lip oils. So if you want that true lip oil feel, you know, the Clarins might actually be better for you. Now, the Milk Makeup Glossy Odyssey Lip Gloss. So this is the shade Voyage, and it's a cream. And it's just, it's a shade thing. Again, I was expecting this to not be as purple as it is. And quite honestly, when it's on the lips, it just looks a bit flat. And you know, that's partially, I think, because of the cream formula. You know, there's more of a creamy pigment to it. Sometimes that can be more difficult to get the same kind of reflection that you would with a pigment choice like from Clarins. But it's not something I ever reach for. I put it on maybe twice and I was like, this isn't for me. So I think it's probably safe to pass that along. But I will say Ginger Snap from NYX is more up my alley. Again, creamy pigment. You can see similar color, similar pigmentation style, but for some reason on my lips, it looks better. You know, for so long, I didn't understand the hype with the NYX Butter Glosses, and still, I gotta be honest, I don't think like they're the best glosses out there, but this shade in particular is unique. I think it's really pretty. you know, faint kind of cake batter smell to it. In general, I think if you're looking for a unique shade with more of that cream formula, NYX does have a lot of shade options. And that's something that I've always really appreciated about the brand. And personally for me, I think that this one's good. I think it's great. So I'm gonna keep that one, keeping the Clarins as well. And then lastly, we have Mahogany from Dior in the Dior Addict lip gloss formula. And it's beautiful. It really is beautiful. Love the tone of it. But Dior Mahogany in general is just like a great tone. But here's the thing, if you want a ton of shine, I think that the Dior Mahogany lip gloss, it lasts a little bit longer than the lip oil. So, you know, if you're looking for that longevity, you might just want to go with the lip gloss rather than the Dior lip oil formula. I mean, both are really pretty, but just kind of like a side note. Next up here, we have the Exa lip oils. I have a bunch of shades, but I already know I need to pass a couple along. The one I'm not passing along is this shade, which is Optimist. It's a beautiful cherry red, and it's definitely my favorite. You can see, hold on. The one thing I wish was a little bit different is for some reason, sometimes it doesn't want to pick up on the applicator right away, but it's very, very buildable. They're lightweight but glossy. This is the shade Lover. And I find that they actually like, as far as like classic lip oil textures, I think that they've done a good job to really capture what I think of when I think of a lip oil. I also have the shade Dreamer, and this is kind of just like this iridescent shade with all these little pearls. I'm not reaching for a glitter gloss too much or a glitter lip oil, so I'm gonna go ahead and pass that one along, but I need to figure out which of these, oh crap, I have two Lover shades. To me, they look a little bit different. Let me swatch them next to each other. I don't know, maybe I'm going crazy, but I feel like these look different. Well, anywho, I'm gonna keep one and then pass along the other. The old classic Glossier clear lip gloss. If you want a ton of shine, you can get that with this gloss. It's not for the faint of heart because it packs a punch and it is thicker. There's a stickiness to it for sure. But I don't know, like if I really, really want that super glossy effect, it is one that I would recommend. And also the cherry red is absolutely beautiful. Keeping that one, I wish I still had the cherry red shade. For some reason, maybe I decluttered it, but that doesn't really seem like me. It could have been like it could have gone bad or something. Shall we talk about some Asian beauty products? I have the same Eco Soul lip oil, which has been a favorite of mine for a while now. This is the shade 02, and I gotta tell you, as far as like K-beauty lip oils go, this is absolutely one of the best and one of my favorite K-beauty products, period. Just such a delightful formula. It has this beautiful slip that you might expect from a lip oil, but it's also really enveloping, so glossy. The shades, like you're not gonna get a ton of pigment from them. I think it's more so like a shine effect. I haven't tried all of the shades, but this is one that I think more people should talk about. I really haven't heard anyone talk about it. Yeah, if you are interested in a really great, more like translucent lip oil that just adds this really nice luminosity to the lips, this is one of my favorites. I have a couple of glosses from Pink Flash. This might have been like, this is maybe one of the most disappointing products that I've tried. So they're just really pigment heavy, and there's a lot of like white base pigment to them. And it's unfortunate. I don't see myself reaching for them. It's just one of those things. I don't reach for these kind of products already, so it's not like that they're bad. It's just, I can get that little bit of a butthole lip thing that goes on, if you guys know what I mean. I've talked about this before on my channel, but like that differentiation line on the lips between like your lip color in the inner like lip and the gloss that's on the rest of your lips, like that differentiation can look very awkward, and these just look awkward on my lips. So those I think gotta go. And this Peri Para Ink Lasting Lip Gloss, it's a similar thing, just you got a lot of pigment here. And it's just very creamy pigment that, you know, it's a fine line with cream pigment and glosses in my opinion. And this one did not do it for me. Do you guys want to see a video on like K-beauty products I was disappointed in? I don't know. You guys let me know if that's what you would want to see. I'm going to declutter these for now, but if that seems like something you'd want, let me know. Or I could just focus on like the products that I do like. The same Serum lip gloss is one of those products that I do enjoy. This is just like a clear gloss. But the formula is pretty similar actually to like the Eco Soul. This might be a touch thinner and oilier, but again, it's just like really nice. Feels to me like a lip oil I would want to continue to use. And obviously these are from the same brand, so it makes sense to me that they would be similar. But yeah, I definitely like the Serum Gloss formula as well. Now, the Glasting Water Gloss formula. I have the shade 01. It's from Rom&nd. By far one of the craziest formulas. First of all, it comes out with like this silicone applicator and it goes onto the lips like literally like a jelly. It's unfortunate that I feel like I'm not a fan of the taste of it, because like the actual formula is so interesting. I think if you're interested in this kind of texture or unique textures in general, it would still be worth thinking about picking up, but if you are sensitive with taste and smell, maybe not. I'm gonna keep it for now just because I'm like such a fan of unique formulas, and I think that that is such a unique formula despite the flavor. An example of a lip gloss that I think does cream pigment really well is this one from Lisa Eldridge. Now, this is the shade Muse. It's really nice. There's just such a lovely, smooth texture. There's resistance to it, but it's not sticky. I just think that if you're a fan of more of a medium pigmentation gloss, this one feels to me like it would be the most flattering. It doesn't resist being sheared out, and that's kind of a quality that I think really separates cream pigment glosses from ones like the ones that work and the ones that don't. No real smell to it that I can decipher, and what I love also, it kind of clicks to keep it sealed so you don't have to worry about this exploding in your bag. Certainly keeping this one. Unfortunately, I think it's finally time to throw these away. These are the Chapstick Total Hydration Lip Oils. One of my favorite like hidden gem affordable finds. They're just really, really beautiful, but they've kind of gone and they're separating and they look not great. But I will say they are one of the best, most affordable lip products out there in my opinion. Just know, and I'll leave a link down below to them, that they're very good. Another affordable find that is so good is the Clean Fresh Yummy Gloss from CoverGirl. This is the shade Moonlit Eclipse, and it's just this really beautiful kind of sheer pinky brown, really lovely, almost like pineapple smell. And honestly, the way they feel, like there's just this really beautiful balminess to them, never overly sticky. So if you're someone that you're like, Amanda, I really, really don't want a sticky gloss, this is one of my top recommendations for you all. Just such a fresh, pretty effect on the lips, affordable. And again, like you get a decent amount of product. You get 0.33 ounces in here, which is, I would say that I'd call that a decent amount of product. Another amazing affordable find for you all. Something that is not affordable are the City Lips Plumping Lip Glosses. Again, I told you guys I was not going to talk about lip plumpers in this video. I just wanted to recognize that they gave these to me and that I still need to test them. This shade though, Sun Diego, it's kind of like this pinky gold shade. I don't really reach for these, so I'm going to pass that one along, but but I am gonna try these, see what I think. Maybe potentially in an upcoming video, you guys will see my thoughts on the plumper as well as the night oil. I could have sworn I tried this like a long time ago. Fenty Beauty is very expensive for what you get, so these will really have to impress me. Next, we have the Lancome Juicy Tubes Original. I have the shade Hallucination. I think that the Lancome Juicy Tubes, like, they're good. It's a very basic, pretty gloss. There's a lot of shine there. I think if you really, really enjoy that shine and you're into like the smell and the nostalgia of all of it, I don't see anything wrong with it. You also get half a fluid ounce in here, so you get a lot of product. I would be interested in like a sheer red, for example. Not that I need another red gloss, but you know, this shade doesn't necessarily do it for me. The caveat being, I'm thinking of doing an updated kind of cult beauty product video, like an updated cult classic video. You guys liked that one that I did previously, and I feel like this might be something to include in that video. So let me know if you would like to see me talk about this in that video, or what products in general, makeup items, would you like me to talk about in that video. I had a lot of fun with that one. I'm gonna go ahead and pass along this Hourglass gloss. This is the shade Canvas. It's just, it is a very pretty shade. Love the applicator. Way too much pigment for me in a gloss. You guys know the story by now. It just doesn't get along well with me. So this one has to go, unfortunately. So expensive. I would say maybe splurge on the one from Tom Ford if you want to go luxury with pigment. This is the shade Exquise, and it has a similar applicator actually to the Hourglass. But what I love about this one is you can see it's a little bit more of that jelly pigmentation, and it shears out in such a lovely way. And there's almost like this balmy comfort that it brings to the lips. It almost kind of feels like the Rituel de Fille plumping lip oil creams. Very similar formula. I think this has a touch more oil to it, but this one is also a little bit more buttery. So I would definitely buy other shades of this if it weren't so expensive, but it is very expensive, so I restrain myself. But if you are a luxury beauty lover, just know that this is a luxury beauty item from Tom Ford that I think the formula is very excellent. Honestly, you guys, I think this is probably expired by now. It's the Kosas Wet Lip Oil. This is the shade Revealed. It's kind of this peachy shade, which is why I never got more use out of it. Nothing wrong with it. I think I've had this since like my first Kosas purchase, so I think it needs to go. But I always loved this like original Kosas packaging. Like, I think it's really cool. A couple of NYX lip items. So I have the Fat Lip Oil. This is the shade Status Update. I was not expecting as much pigment as these give, but for some reason I'm not mad at it. Like, when I shear it out, it looks really pretty, and that is, again, a pretty unique shade. I don't know if there's even a scent to this one. It's kind of hard to tell. It's almost like an apple bread kind of smell. Like, there's, I don't know, like a baked quality to it. But this is the Juice Gloss from NYX. Such a hidden gem. It is one of these gloss formulas that I just don't know why more people don't talk about it. Great like fruity flavor or scent to it, but it's kind of like a gel lip gloss formula, and I tend to really enjoy formulas like this. The applicator puts the product on very thinly, so you're not left with like a really gloopy finish. But again, like, it packs on the shine. You know, NYX definitely has a lip formula for a lot of different people. If you want something more translucent, the Juice Gloss is probably the best way to go. Whereas, you know, the butter glosses or the fat lip oils tend to have a little bit more pigment there, but I'm gonna keep these for now. Now, the Ulta Juice Infused Lip Oils. I hope they still make these, but I'm honestly not sure. These were one of the first lip oils that I actually tried on my channel, period. Sweet Rose one was one that I was like, listen guys, This formula is bonkers good. Like, it has such a gorgeous, gorgeous shine to it. Really, like, goes so smoothly on the lips. Like, it creates that beautiful water droplet effect because the way it goes on the lips is so even. But I never liked the rose smell. But this one in 367, however, has a little bit of a pink pigmentation to it. You can barely see it, but it's more of just like a classic fruit smell. So I'm gonna keep that one and pass this one along. Total hidden gem at Ulta if you have never tried those. This is a product I need to try. It's the Gloss Shot from Kaja, and this is the shade Milk Tea. Again, it's like kind of this milky pale pink with these tiny glimmer shimmers. I like that it looks a little bit more cool toned. We're gonna have to see how that one goes. I'm gonna keep that one for now, obviously. Revlon The Gloss formula. These are old, unfortunately, like pretty old. But I will tell you right now that they're one of the best, like the super lustrous glosses from Revlon, one of the best at the drugstore. Highly recommend them. And in general, I don't think you can go wrong, especially with this shade, Fatal Apple. It's bomb. Seriously, so good. In fact, I'm gonna keep Fatal Apple as like a reminder to pick it up again, but these are gonna go. I think I'm gonna go ahead and declutter a couple of these Sigma lip oils. Like, I don't think I need another clear lip oil, so I'm gonna pass that one along. It hasn't even been swatched. And then let's see this shade. Honestly, that's a shade that I would, would be really up my alley. I think I'm gonna keep that one. That's the shade Tint. But this is one that I've already had opened and used, which is All Heart. And the Sigma lip oils are really nice. Again, like a big fat doe foot applicator on here. Smooth, glossy texture. As far as like lip oils go, they feel like very balanced. And you guys can probably tell from the products I've talked about today, I just really go for balanced lip products. I think that this one is definitely one that if you enjoy something like the In Beauty lip glazes, very similar thing, just an overall great one. Pat McGrath Flesh 6 lip gloss. This is just like a mini. And I realized I was about to buy this shade of the lipstick, but I'm glad I didn't because I didn't realize that I already have the gloss, and the gloss is that same like gorgeous bricky shade. I think Pat McGrath did a wonderful job of getting a creamy pigment into a lip gloss that is still flattering. And just look at that shine, like really insane shine. Beauty Pie Wonder Gloss Collagen Lip Oil is very reparative. I should probably keep it like in my car or with like my other lip balms because I don't really use this as an everyday kind of cosmetic item. You can see it's just kind of like translucent. There's a little bit of white pigment in there, but really delicious vanilla scent. These feel more like a liquid lip balm than they do necessarily a lip oil or a gloss, but they're called lip oils. So I admittedly got a little bit torn and decided to put it in this video. And last but certainly not least, a product that finally needs to go. It is the M Cosmetics Morning Dew Lip Gloss. I think that this is a beautiful one. It has this gorgeous texture to it. You know, it's shiny and enveloping, but it's also not overly sticky. You know, I haven't used a lot of M Cosmetics products for like the last year. I'd be interested in getting back into the brand, but you guys, I've had this for a very long time, so I think it finally needs to go. But just know that as far as like a good clear lip gloss, I do think that this one is nice. All right, everyone, so these are the items, the glosses and lip oils that I'm going to be keeping in my collection. There's still a decent amount here, obviously, but I'm going to be decluttering all of these. So I feel pretty good about that. There's definitely a decent amount here. But overall, I hope that you all enjoyed the video. I really appreciate you guys being here. I will leave all of the products that I talked about down below for you all as well. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you in my next one.